série, eu vejo eles, então, assim, você tá vendo, você sabe, você bring this kind of solution for Brazil because here we have good people, we have entrepreneurs, but normally it's hard to have this kind of connection. So basically, I'm a guy from nowhere, I simply call it Goiânia, Goiás. They say to have more calls and commodities partners.
Now it's university. Radioactive emergency.
It's not anywhere.
It's not entirely nowhere. It's half nowhere.
Yeah.
But now it's quite known because of this new Netflix series, right? Radioactive emergency. That was so good.
Yeah.
So good. Is that Sergio?
Yes, yes, yes.
Really? Okay. I gotta see it.
Happened on Abadia. It's very close.
Happened in Abadia, eh?
Abadia de Goiás.
Abadia? Ah, okay.
Also, at this
Yeah.
moment, because for sure
They must do some
the
tourism.
event.
Some Sergio tourism.
Yeah, it's like yeah, essentially the first one. But if you see the history, you will saw you will have any kind of I will say this in Portuguese because it's hard to explain.
Hmm.
Coisas extraordinárias. Você vai ter, exemplo, o João de Deus, que é de
Oh,
Goiânia.
yeah,
O cara
yeah.
que no
Yeah.
final do dia era um charlatão, mas surgiu em Goiânia.
Got it.
Fortes eventos, exemplo, a logosofia, conceito da logosofia,
Hmm.
né, de ah,
Mhm.
evoluir a humanidade, surgiu em Goiânia também, por
Got
os
it.
pesquisadores lá.
Got
Então,
it.
assim, é uma fazenda.
Hmm.
O meio do Centro-Oeste agora está se tornando um polo empresarial, mas até 2017, quando eu saí de lá, não era nada. Ah, mas tem muita coisa ali.
Got it.
Muita coisa.
Conheço um cara, o nome dele é Zé Dias. Não sei se vocês já ouviram dele. Ele era presidente da Kellogg's, a marca Kellogg no Canadá. He was the president of it in Canada. He's a Brazilian guy. He was president of Kellogg and like the whole Frito-Lay, all that like brand. And now he's like out of that. And he bought kind of like a ranch in Goiás.
Yes.
And he's doing like this retreat center. Then he always tells me about how it's magical and like he wants to bring us there. So that's probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Goiás is Brazil's Texas. So
Yeah.
that's how they, yeah.
A little bit more rude, you know,
Yeah.
because the people were very ignorant. That part.
Cool.
Go next. Hi, my name is Lorraine. I'm from Maringá, an interior city in Paraná, but I've been living here for 3 years now. And today I'm working as a founder in an edtech called EducaSpace. I've got my pitch in English here because there's a lot of technical words that I don't remember. So we're a continuous professional development platform for educators. But I've got a little story to tell how I came from Maringá to here. So I graduated in architecture, but I only worked in this area for like 3 years and I hated it. So I started a new business. I opened a co-working space in my city. And then it went well for like 5 years, and then I just stopped working with it. But when I planned this space, I drew a whole art in one of the walls because I started working as an artist because I love drawing and everything. So I was like an artist. So then people started to hire me to paint walls, and then I became an artist, a mural artist. So I worked with it for like 8 years, being an artist. And then the pandemic came, and I couldn't work painting anymore because most of my clients were like commercial.
Commercial. Commerce.
commerce.
Yeah.
So there was no commerce opening. So I launched a course on my Instagram, and I was selling this course on how to become an artist, a mural artist. So I learned a lot of things about marketing. So then a friend of my husband invited me to work with her. And then I started working with her marketing and building her authority on her Instagram. So then she invited me to become her partner associate, and now I'm working with her with this app called EducaSpace. So
From artist to founder.
yeah, actually. So now
It started to be a pattern.
Yeah, we're gonna hear one more here.
so now I'm working with marketing and sales with her on EducaSpace.
Am I mistaken, or did you apply for membership?
Yes, I
It
did.
was you.
She's our new member.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yesterday, and there's another,
Brother.
yeah,
Yeah.
fake because there's another Lorraine, which is the founder of Revo.
Yeah.
So when your application came in, I
Thought it was
read
her.
it and I just assumed it was her because she's like becoming a member this month, and I'm like, okay, approved. And then later I'm like, wait a minute, this is different.
Well, it's a
Then
good thing
it's
you're
like a
still,
magic island. It just happened.
Yeah.
it's a good thing you're still working
Right?
in a startup, right?
No, but then by the time I messaged you, I had already figured it out.
Okay.
I mean, like initially, I was like, just like, oh, this is Lorraine because she like it's just a
And
different name.
it's not a
Right? It's not a common name.
cool.
Yes, I'm Iggy. I'm Brazilian. I moved to Denmark right after I graduated in Goiânia from graphic design, and I wasn't I wanted to do comic books for as a profession, so I started working. I worked for DC Comics, Image Comics. Then when I went to Denmark, I started my own company and I started doing games. So I've been doing games for over I guess 12 years now. And then had some trouble with the pandemic time and then I discovered Web3, web blockchain, had a lot of fun with that. And then after that came AI, and I said, well, I better join join. If you can't kill it, just join them, right? So today I work a lot with AI. I'm fascinated with OpenClaw. I'm kind of an evangelist of OpenClaw and personal agents. And yeah, I'm starting my new startup with OpenClaw and AI and offering that to users. So I'm really excited. I help out at Founder House as well, but I'm a member as well. So it's like, and yeah, love it here. Planning to move to Floripa, and yeah, nice to meet you all.
Yeah. So Iggy is a power user and a power builder here, right? So
Yeah.
amazing. It's like if you want to know how you can be an amazing member, like these people are like that. All three of these people have made significant. All three of you guys, I'm saying you, Laisa, and John, Laisa, and Iggy. They've made serious contributions, and then they also really use the benefits of this as much as they should, even more,
Mhm.
right? So
Me.
yeah.
Hey guys. So I'm Eric. I'm from Argentina. I've been living here for 6 years now. Uh, yeah, my journey started like a few years ago when I was working in Argentina at the bank at the moment, and I always came to Brazil for holidays. Uh, and one day I was here wondering like, what should I do to stay here for not just 2 weeks and to live here? I was already loving Florianopolis, and when I came back to Argentina, our bank was in like legal trouble, so it closed the operations. We were like kind of kicked out from a moment to another. So it was like the right moment to come back. And yeah, then I came back. I went through the pandemic here as well. And then I started working at the coffee shop, being a manager, and I learned a lot of things. The owner was a Russian couple, so it was like really good to learn how their culture is and how they have their business model. um, Pretty different from how we are used to do, like our Brazilian stuffs that we kind of delay a little bit more, but they are like it was straight away to the point. And yeah, then almost 2.5 years ago, I met these two wonderful guys at the coffee shop. They were like going every day with Juno, and we started talking. And then straight away, as well, from a moment to another, I was like with no job. The owner decided to move to Rio de Janeiro, and he was wanted to take me with him. And I was like, no, I like here. I have already been to Rio, but just 1 week, and I saw that it was not my place to be actually. So then I called Nima and I was like, Nima, I don't have a job and I don't know what to do. They were they were for a few weeks and stuff renting the house. So they were just moving here, and we met here and then started talking about their plans. I didn't understand what they were doing, but it was really good because it helped me a lot to develop myself and to be the person that I am now. Like I started like helping as a barista, doing some coffees here. We had some breakfast, so I was the coffee person. Um, yeah, then I went growing a lot, and now I'm managing our members, the community. So it's been it's a super long journey,
And what's gonna
accelerated. And next week I am going back to the point where everything started to be an entrepreneur again, and starting also I hope a new company, a new business. So I am gonna be around Funder House, but not working anymore as I used to be. So yeah, we're gonna start a new founder journey. It will be nice also to connect with you guys, so we keep in touch. And
Wait, are you going to become a member?
that's right. All right. Anyone who work
Happened in Jupiter before, but now we embrace it. People who work in these like ecosystem businesses, they get a lot of opportunities, right? Because everyone like says, "Oh, you work with that guy?" So I'm trying to like in Jupiter, I was like, "What the fuck?" Anyone in the like tell people this guy sucks. Wait, offer like 3 times what we're paying him. We're like including Mercado Bitcoin stole people from us there. Like ecosystems in Curitiba, and then every single time. But then in Thunder House, we decided, okay, that's awesome. What we're gonna do is these people will get an experience. This is employee number one of Thunder House, right? So he's actually been the longest standing person here. We trust him with our lives. And then we decided a model that's more healthy is like once you finish your term working here, you become a member here. We give a membership to the person who's been working here, and we allow them the opportunity to do whatever is the next thing without having like a separation or something about it, right? But yeah.
Well, yeah, good luck now because we are founder. Everything you hear about it now is just because.
Now the Russians will seem like sweet. How you doing?
Okay, you're the last one to introduce yourself.
Só eu não falo inglês.
Pode ser em português, deve em português.
Sim.
Dois.
Meu nome é João Pedro, eu tenho 28 anos. Eu acabei de fazer saída da minha última empresa, PagTrust, era uma plataforma de pagamentos no mercado de produtos digitais, cursos, eventos, mentorias e assim por diante. Comecei nesse mercado em 2018, assim, tive um grande sucesso com as minhas outras empresas que tinham negócio nesse mercado. Depois eu abri a plataforma, briguei com meu sócio, fiz minha saída e estou construindo outro negócio da mesma natureza, assim, mesmo nicho, bem parecido, mexer com pagamento, tecnologia, IA, para esse mercado de educação online.
De onde você?
Eu nasci no interior de São Paulo, eu morava em São Paulo e estou aqui em Curitiba. Morei em Curitiba há 4 anos também. Aí você falou que era caminho. Mas tô morando aqui uns 4 meses agora. Faz bem pouco tempo. É, tava em São Paulo, mesmo, capital.
Não deixa o gringo te dar boas-vindas para ir.
Obrigado.
Eu não completei minha história. Eu sou. Vocês conhecem o Topázio, né? Já ouviram falar do Topázio? Ele é embaixador formal da ilha. Eu sou embaixador informal da ilha.
Esse é o internacional.
Bom, eu sou
See the screen?
so I'm Paloma. I'm from Curitiba originally. I lived abroad for a while. Came back to Brazil about 12 years ago. And since then, I've been in this entrepreneurship journey. I founded 2 nonprofits already. So I'm very into that social project environment. And through one of my nonprofits, I launched a startup called Peace Labs, which was a software to monitor social projects all across Brazil, mainly for large donor corporates that donate a lot. And I want to know what's going on with that investment. That was like pre-ESG, and nobody should talk much about it. But that was initially how I got into tech. And very slowly, I got transitioned into helping other founders in acceleration programs that I got benefit from. So a lot like giving back at first. But when Nima stepped down from Founder Institute Brazil because he had a burnout, I took over operations in Brazil, and then very quickly moved to handle operations globally at Founder Institute. So in Brazil, we accelerated 1,800 founders already, 710 CNPJs created through our programs. But then I operated from Japan to Caracas, 170 countries of startup acceleration programs. So pretty much anywhere across the globe, I know a lot of great founders or mentors because I was in that role of overseeing all global operations of the FI. But then I also learned how that model is just not what we need as founders anymore. Right before we should just throw mentor people. When we started operating Founder Institute, it was all about even just translating from English to Portuguese or Spanish. Because we had one book, Eric Ries, and everybody had to go to YC or 500 to even learn about it. Now, pretty much everything is democratized. So it's not about mentoring anymore. It's not about even capital anymore. Like we started one of the first VCs in Brazil and kind of pushed to create that whole industry. But do we even need VC money anymore? Do we even need to pay for agencies to do ads? So I think the exercise that we are doing now is what do founders actually need? And we've been working just pretty much here. When we first moved to Jurerê, was all about just kind of taking a break from our own burnout operations. We had one partner burnout, one partner with cancer, and we're like, why the fuck are we even doing this business anymore? So we moved here to kind of heal ourselves as founders and to rethink like what do we even want to do. And then we just loved the Jurerê and Floripa so much. We're like, we kept inviting friends over and they would be like, what do you mean you guys are building tech companies from here? Like you don't need to be in São Paulo. No, you don't need to be in New York or in Toronto. And we're like, oh, you don't even know where I am, right? I operated Founder Institute globally 2 years from Jurerê. People didn't even know where I was. They just thought I was in Silicon Valley, right? They were like, oh, they don't see where you are. So we were like just organically inviting friends and people started moving in and being like, I also want to do that. So we met the developers of the neighborhood, which is Jurerê Internacional is a private development. So it's like one company that built this all, like the buildings, the resorts, the beach clubs, the roads. And they're like, what are you guys doing here in the winter? We're like, we're building tech companies. They're like, what? We're like, yeah, we have all these friends. They're also coming around. They're like, what? Like, can we get more of you guys? So Founder House organically started just as an idea of like having a better way to welcome people from all across the globe. And it turned out to be like this whole, so in 2013, we started Founder House. 2023, sorry, 2023. So far we brought physically 2,823 people to see what it is to live in Florida and be an entrepreneur. So how do you build tech business from here instead of Dubai or New York? So we're hosting events, very top of the funnel, just so people have the excuse. So you guys been to IP City last month, Bitcoin Plus Plus, or like all these events are like very top of the funnel. Come see what Floripa is. Come experience the Magic Island. And then a lot of people come for a week. They're like, I'm gonna bring my wife and my kids. They spend a month. And then a lot of us are already buying property, moving in. And it's not just about Jurerê, but this is where we love to be and where we started. So right now it's actually 45 members so far. Right?
Sweet. We have a magic number 42. Has anyone read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
The company I used to work before, Educa Space, was called B42, and they named it after this book and after the Little Prince, the planet B661.
So it just keeps following you.
Yeah, it's like
42. That book is the answer to the greatest question. So we don't know the question yet. We just thought the answer is 42. That's it's a large scientific case in the kind of comic scientific case in the book. If you read it, you'll see that it's lived on till now. Like, yeah, so we like that number. Once we hit 42 members, but it was kind of like the membership was not being, we didn't sell the membership technically. It was more like members would ask, people would ask, and then we would look at them, understand who they are, and start to accept them, a few of them. Once we hit 42, now we're in a membership today. That we understood, who are the members, what's their profile, what do they want, to start to build on that. So now we have another cohort of 42 memberships we've opened. 21 members are entrepreneur in residence members. I mean, another 21 would be digital nomad types members, nomadic founders. And that's the way we're going to be basically growing the member base here.
So it's not about building a tech hub that's mine or Lima, but it's really about building the neighborhood we believe we want to live in. We think founders need three things today. They need a community that focuses on healthy entrepreneurship. They need better jurisdiction, so we don't need to incorporate dollars of this world, but we can operate where we are. And or if not go where we are, how do we do jurisdiction arbitrage and how do we optimize? And we need compute. But we're really creating a whole village, like a whole community of founders. Founder House was the first asset that we put in. So we rented this house for 2 years. Now in February, we actually bought the house. So we just put a down payment in the house of R$1 million. It's worth, so we're raising 15 million. We broke it down into tokens. So it's almost like a jet ski quota. You can be a member of Founders, which is what you just became. You paid your membership. And after a probational period, we're going to get invited to become a co-owner of the club. So the Founder House, even the house itself, is supposed to be owned by its members and not just by one or two individuals. We're doing the same thing for now, Founder Desk, which is coming soon. It's probably going to be right nearby, which is going to be offices, physical, but also digital incorporation.
Did anyone see the prototype of Founder Desk already or no? Yeah, you guys
It's just
maybe like
it's already incorporated.
Yeah, no. The prototype of Founder Desk that she's talking about, which is coming next, this is V2. It's going to be a proper development. Before it was aiming to a exhibit in the resort, you would host companies there because that's where Habitasul basically rented us a space there so that we can host companies and an AI cluster. You can imagine how crazy that is, but just the prototype stuff, right? So like we were doing this like startups should do, right? Like literally everything, prototyping it, building a minimum viable model. It works. I can even throw away that minimum viable model and now build something intentionally, right? So the intent comes after you build a space And you start to learn who are the people, who are the users, why do they use it, what do they want from it, what do they not want from it. So when we go to build it para valer, do it intentionally. And that's the stage we are in right now.
So there's many other assets, including a data center we're putting together, which is a bigger project called Aya. There's a founder farm to get our produce together. So we're literally like good at it. Floripa already has infrastructure, but what do we need to have the best infrastructure if we are going to live here for long? Like what's missing? And as a group of collective of founders, we're deciding those assets and we're creating them, starting with the country club, which is Founder House. Now the office space, which we want walking distance, the founder cafe, the farm, Aya is the data center project. So everything is already kind of getting incorporated. And then the one thing that I just wanted to close up with is Floripa 10. So we started a movement with the mayor's office, the state and the federal government to create a special jurisdiction here in Floripa. It works a lot like Zona Franca de Manaus, but it's supposed to be operated quite privately. So we can have our Delaware or our Estonia of Brazil. Because a lot of us are second-time founders, and we learned that there's no reason to operate companies out of Brazil and deal with all this. So it depends a lot in what you're doing. But yeah.
There's a nuance to when you open your company. So usually first-time founders make like a big mistake of building a very congested, like kind of like bureaucracy into their system. And people who have built companies more than once, or anyone who's raised Series A, has been forced to open their company in Delaware or Cayman Islands or somewhere else, which is a friendly jurisdiction. And essentially that company then owns the minimized asset in Brazil, which is basically a necessary evil for you to be able to maintain minimal operations in Brazil. So it doesn't mean that, no, don't operate out of Brazil. It means you should operate out of multiple jurisdictions. And that's the service we have now. So we invested in a company called Tools for the Commons. Maybe you guys have heard about that. Tools for the Commons has a product called Digital Access Zone, DAZ. And through the Digital Access Zone, we can incorporate you in multiple jurisdictions with very low cost, like $20 here, $100 there to incorporate, and very fast, like 1 day, 2 day, 3 day kind of like incorporation in different jurisdictions. So depending on the type of product or the business model that you have, you work in one jurisdiction for something, in another jurisdiction for something else. That's what we're starting to develop here. Meanwhile, we are negotiating with the city and the state. And then in the future, with the city and the state, we're negotiating with the federal government to carve out a special economic zone here in Florianópolis. So the actual CNPJ of here will be worth like sort of an external jurisdiction. And the main reason is why. It's not because we want to compete with Brazilian jurisdictions. I honestly, genuinely believe, and if you look at this deeply, you'll agree with me, it's Brazil's last chance. Brazil is losing every single talented entrepreneur who makes money. As soon as they make money, they go somewhere else. And why do they do that? Mainly you move because of two reasons, right? So we knew this kind of is obvious, but we did a study to understand that there's two reasons why you move. One is you go to be closer to your job. Second is you go to be closer to your family. Third, which is mine, is you go where you feel best. So your job is now in the cloud, right? So you want to be closer to family or where you feel best. So a lot of the Brazilians who are leaving, they don't actually want to leave. They think the grass is greener across the street. They go there and then they realize the best place to live is probably Florianópolis. So there are a lot of them are coming back, like this guy and you guys have come back. You're coming back. So that's the idea, is to actually attract the Brazilian diaspora back to Brazil. So we're trying to help Brazil win. If the federal starts to understand that at some point, I think we'll have this winning.
So we have Founder House, we have Founder Desk, which is this services. We're creating all this services as founders for ourselves. And then this is a campaign, it's not live yet. So you guys are like the first ones seeing it. We're still collecting partners. but I think most of you guys know about Startup Summit. That's gonna happen right in August. So we're partnering with all the institutions in the island, including restaurants, hotels, accommodations, all the tech hubs, everybody. And during the whole month of August, we're starting a campaign, a movement called Magic Island. The goal of Magic Island is to tell the world about Floripa. Kind of those are campaigns that you see across the globe, like Experience Saudi Arabia, Come to Cuba. So we're gonna invite people to come experience the Magic Island for 1 month, do a test drive of what it is to live here, not in the summer. A lot of people already come here in the summer, but it's expensive. They don't do any business as they're here, so they see it as a summer thing. But we want to make sure that we bring maybe 1,000 international, a lot of diaspora Brazilians to come live here for a few weeks, ideally the month of August, and experience what it is. So we don't need to create too many new events. Floripa already has a lot of things going on in August. So we're partnering with Startup Summit. Iggy is gonna organize BlockOn. There's a bunch of like anything that Mercado Bitcoin is gonna do, anything that you guys are gonna do, try to do in August. Because we're gonna have this collective aggregator calendar and we want to promote globally. So we're talking with like TechCrunch, we're gonna talk with like Forbes, we're gonna put like a thing in like New York Times Square saying, come to Floripa, experience Magic Island. We're reaching out to all our global partners to kind of bring like Nomad List and all this stuff to showcase what it is. If you want to be part of, so we're actually creating a nonprofit institute called Floripa Institute of Technology. A bunch of brands are becoming founding partners, and you can host your events, you can sponsor the month, or you can just join the calendar and participate as a founder. So it's kind of a self-serve thing. We have these two ideas that we're gonna put like a bus from the airport connecting all the tech innovation hubs, so Sapiens, Akachi, here, the bus station. So this bus is gonna go around the island for the whole month so people can move around. And we're talking about creating this fidelity card, loyalty card, where people are gonna have all these benefits across the island, kind of like the Floripa and Dopo and all this discounts in restaurants and stuff, but even like access to like swags and things. So they feel a part of this bigger movement to showcase the island for a month. So the mayor office is gonna support it, Sebrae, Akachi. But the whole thing is, can we invite our cool friends that are all over to come experience the magic of the island? So this is kind of like a special invite for you guys if you want to join. So this is made by Iggy Clock,
This website, I was gonna say this website looks good.
right?
Yeah.
Looks good. So anyone can participate. Think about that as your calendar. Try to do stuff in August, and we're gonna try to shake around the island.
Yeah, more than that, as of now, like if you already have in your mind, or you have one huge one in your mind, I know that his last name is Anjo, so he's our Anjo here, right? So because
Who is
any
that?
organizations like Mercado Bitcoin, they want to be activating things in the island in that month. Become a partner of this. Let's make sure we make it even more winning. So if you think of other organizations everybody from Florianopolis should put their best face forward, right? So that's the first thing. So if you're an organization in Florianopolis, make sure you have you're like all polished for that month. If you're not from Florianopolis and you want to activate in Florianopolis, this is your entry point, right? So there are different ways. We are doing this with and for the city. So the Prefeitura is a part of this. And we're also doing it with the Secretaria de Ciencia y Tecnología, and then ACAT, ASIFI, Sebrae, all of those associations that you know, they're going to be activating this. Have you guys heard of or been a part of Floripa Conecta before? So before they used to have Floripa Conecta, which was the way the city would kind of activate during August. That program didn't get funding this year, so they're not doing that this year. But the point of this, in any way, was just translate that for digital nomad community. Because they're already coming here. I don't know if you guys are noticing. They're already popping up everywhere. Like in Benoit's neighbors every time he's like, what the fuck, there's another French Canadian here and there, you know, like it's happening all the time. So why don't we intentionally make sure the best of them come here to spend and invest and build businesses with us, right?
And if I may add as well, like from what I've noticed here in Floripa, like there's a lot more coming, but we don't really there's no infrastructure, like it's still brand new, you know, so there's big opportunities for them, for you guys to make your path, because what they do is they go to Cafe Cultura, for example, in Lagoa, they work there, and you know, like it's, if you compare with, for example, in Chiang Mai, where I used to live in Thailand, it's very known for digital nomad. You have a lot of co-working places. Like there's big events that are organized. Here, it's still, I think, not there. So for you guys to do that and be the first ones to really push forward,
To aggregate.
And it's not you guys. The whole idea is this is gonna be considered a non-profit. And we should all come together and do it because it's not about one or two
Yeah,
people. So
Floripa Institute of Technology is not Founder House. It's our donation to the city. Like it's basically, I've been saying, I am the ambassador till now. I want the ambassador to be an institution that's going to really bring. So FIT is going to have FIT Embassy. It's going to have FIT University. It has a FIT cluster, which is a think tank for developing special economic zone and AI. The university develops programming for self-service acceleration, which is what digital nomads who have built companies before do. We just basically make it easy for them to do business. And the embassy's job is to bring the best people to the island and make the island win.
yeah, it's almost like an embassy of Floripa that we want to put all across the cloud, right? Because you don't need physical embassies anymore.
Just
Go ahead.
from personal experience, you solve a problem for me in person because I travel around the world trying to bring people for Brazil. For sure. South Brazil, it's very easy. But everyone said, well, you are based in São Paulo. No, I based in Florianópolis. What is Florianópolis? It's so beautiful, as real, but safely placed, and you have a full environment of entrepreneurs and another kind of solutions. In this case, I am one of ambassador of this one without knowing the existence of this, you know. So it's amazing to see this kind of initiative because everyone wants to find a way to come to Floripa internationally, but no one have at this moment until 1 hour ago, I never have one thing to present to them, to show them the opportunity to build something here. So it's amazing.
Yes,
And,
help us,
something
help us
even-
build a stronger case with that because we should build this more completely and then we should
Yeah.
also distribute it very widely everywhere we have connections. So I'm already activating the 10 offices of ACAT around the world so they can start to share and bring. And then through the World Trade Center also, like wherever they have places. And then I'm going to Canada, and in Canada, I'm doing 2 events to try to attract more digital nomads to come here for that. They're already coming
And
randomly.
This is like all ideas are welcome. Like this is not even public yet. We haven't announced it yet. Guys, create with all our founders, and it's not about tourism, right? So this is like for people to come here and live and work.
Yes.
How do we pick our neighbors? Now that we're all deciding we're gonna live here, like we need to increase the level of like who's our neighbors, right? And so it's not like a ghost town over the years. So on the summer, we don't care about the tourists. This is Floripa already does great with that. But especially we chose the month of August because a month that's not like the ideal of Floripa summer. But people can still come here and understand that this is amazing still.
It's technology tourism, right? That's literally what that's for. And then hopefully we get to retain those people and that they can stay and build businesses here and invest here. That's the idea.
Cool. So guys, today we went way over, like we're 20 minutes past 10. We usually have breakfast stop at 10. But just a quick overview so I can introduce Benoit talk. Every Founder House is not doing an acceleration program. It's a self-serve accelerator, right? So we're not going to be like holding founders' hands and doing a little structured program. We know that's not the thing anymore. You should, especially as a second, third time founder, you don't need that anymore. But we do see a lot of modules of things. So over the month at Founder House, we have prompt nights, which are more like let's learn how to use AI.
Been to France nights before.
Sometimes, no?
Yes.
There's a prompt night
Incredible.
once or twice a week.
Whether you're technical or not, whether you start from zero or you know a lot about AI, it's very helpful. Like I see it in my eyes every time people are here. They come from like zero, they build something, or they have a certain level, they build something better, more complex, you know? So we started with just basic prompting 2 years ago. You know, if I say 2 years ago in the age of like prompting, it was like literally we were like prompting. We were like, what the fuck's that? You know, and then does prompt mean I'm on time? Also, it also means that. But basically, like we started with prompting, and then now we're into agentic frameworks and agentic systems, and you know, amazing people like Iggy and other people. Each session is presenting, and now we're starting to see startups that are growing from that. So we had a couple of the last two prompt nights were by startups that were raised here. So they started a couple of years ago, basic prompting, and then now they have agentic systems. So they were showing everyone that, like, oh man, look, me instead of hiring 50 people, I have 9 people. I went from 20 almost back to 9, and I made an extra net 1 million in the past 8, 9 months. You know, that's what's happening here.
So last prom night was with Guga. He went from 25 employees to 9 and 4 times his revenue in the past 6 months using mostly Lovable. So he literally opened the
Yeah,
box
Lovable
and
and Cloud,
showed.
right?
Lovable
Lovable
and
in the front and Cloud in the back.
So prom nights is about founders really showing how they're doing it, and we just pretty much copying each other and working. So the last week of the month, we know that is the most important week for sales because it's becoming more and more low barrier for us to build product, but distribution is what matters, right? So how do we help each other with distribution? So this was an idea of one of the members. Every last week of the month at Founder House, we call that closing week. So we have a bell outside. Everybody goes pretty much in sales mode, and we're all just sitting here and selling and ringing the bell. There is a lot of evidence that you increase 40% your sales if you work in person with other salespeople around you. And it doesn't even need to be the same company. Like if I sell my startup and you sell stuff in your startup, it just that contagious closing of the
You know, you guys know the like stand-up meetings of Scrum, like the daily stand-up meeting. So essentially, imagine you do a stand-up that's inter-company. So different companies do a stand-up, and that's what generally closing week is. Like right now, we're still prototyping it, but we're just presenting it now to you guys. But this week has been all that, like with all everybody basically selling something and talking about that. But as of next month, we want to double down on this more because it's becoming very popular. Like companies are like applying to do this to basically come here or send their salespeople here, and they work around other salespeople, and they get that contagiousness. And generally, what's happening is you're closing about 40% of your monthly objectives in a company, especially in remote organizations. They're like very like tested like that. And then when closing week happens, we already have two companies that will tell you, they already said it on Instagram, you can look, they were able to double that. So they're able to hit 70 or 80% of their metrics just because of the closing week once. So now we're doubling down on it. Every month, you're going to have that the last week of the month. And for members, it's included in the package. Non-member companies, founders pay 1,000 reais for the week. And then companies that want the full immersion, they actually can stay in one of the on-suites here. They pay 3,000 reais to do the program.
So ideally, it's about sales. It's not even like content or talks, but we are bringing a few special people in the network that know a lot about sales to give also like an open perspective and to share with founders what's going on with now the AI era, like within like this changing. We as a sales team from remote company, small. How can I even leverage that? So Benoit is today our guest. He's going to do a 20-minute talk. talk, and then we're just gonna sit literally in this table and start closing deals all day long.
Or anywhere
Hopefully.
around the house, there's different options.
Yeah, whoever hits a sale today can go and ring the bell, and you guys are gonna start seeing that we get a little competitive of who's gonna ring the bell. I'm in my sales round, so I'm gonna ring the bell because I sold you yesterday.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so ideally everybody is in that sale mood at the house today, and you guys can participate as well, even if you're not.
Hey, Maria.
Yes,
Oh, so you also applied for membership, yes? Right?
Yes.
Is it?
Oh, there you go.
Think care to talk more about maybe be a member, but I think I want to be that now.
So there you go. Once, and you can only ring the bell once the transaction is in the account, not just I want to be a member. In the account.
Sim.
Right? Closing week. Otherwise we will shame you. And then we do sauna in the end of the day or like ice tub. So maybe let's get Benoit.
That's a really idea.
Introduce himself before we.
It's a really cool idea. Like she's like getting photographers from all around the world to go into there. So I think it's interesting because of like the distribution is very challenging for something like that, right? So it's a good challenge for us to try to figure out how we get that done. Yeah, that's here's another Canadian guy. Yesterday she told me, she's like, "Oh, why do you speak English so well?" I was like, "I don't speak English that well." Yeah, Benoit is French Canadian.
Is it a bit
And a lot of Russians here, but not many Canadian, but now they're popping up.
It is, yeah.
Introduce yourself. Everybody got to introduce themselves.
Yes, I am Maria from Norway and Brazil. So I live in Brazil for 8 months and then the rest in Norway. So in my house, I'm in Brazil and as I say, I'm starting this app and platform, whatever you want to call it. It's about photographers finding wherever they are traveling around the world because that was something I was struggling with. Because I travel very much, but I didn't never had someone to take the pictures for Instagram. So then I made the app and it's going very well, but now we need to have investors to expand because it's very cost. So that's who I am and nice to meet you. Yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Oh, well, you say Norway, but then it's norsk.
Great.
Yeah, no, my language also.
Okay, okay.
About Norway.
No, I'm about Denmark.
Then
Yeah,
Close.
almost what did in
I
that
lived there for 17 years.
well.
Yeah, and I'm coming back. I'm Brazilian. Yeah.
Little.
Art at first. I have my
So we're
company
like-
there for making games. Yeah.
Like an IT guy.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have one more guest who arrived also there. So
great? So I'm Felipe Bustos, but
Oh,
everyone calls me Wes. And I used to be Nomad for 10 years. And after the pandemic, I decided to be a father. And and I found a place to call home. That's Santa Catarina, and I'm living now in Garopaba. I used to be UX and UI before AI. Now I am information architecture, and I'm developing my own open core infrastructure. That's it's by NFC. So like I can create a parallel infrastructure for cities like using high sorry not hiding but Easter eggs like Easter eggs with localization based for cool brands in order to activate new kind of territory, right?
so kind of like Pokemon Go for cities,
Yeah, exactly. So
right?
yeah, but it's pretty cool.
We're gonna have to have it at the Magic
I
Island.
think both of you guys have something that's really cool for Magic Island, right? Like we can, yeah, a lot of photographers are like digital nomads and they're like influencers from around the world. So it's really interesting to like get that network and also this product. Maybe take pictures of the eggs too.
Yeah, and now this product we call it the community card.
and we launched it on with PA brand. That is a brand that was chosen by Oakley to represent the new street style in São Paulo. And so I did many kind of experience with Oakley, so I know how to organize physical stuff, physical everything, cars, aviation, clothes, everything can be tokenized and can be called for someone by text, by chat. Yeah. So everyone is, and my main goal is to create this infrastructure for every single product to be found by those devices, right? So we can advertise in some physical spaces, like really fast. For example, if you go to advertise right now in São Paulo, you just integrate with my platform, and I can change the link and invite people to come there and to tap in the NFC. So it's really quickly. That's all. Thank you.
Welcome. Let's get started.
All right. So, well, I guess I'm not gonna go over myself too much because I just did. But before working in web marketing, I worked in sales. I was selling cell phones for a company called Bell. It's like the Vivo of Brazil, and I was third in Canada serving. So I started getting good at it because I read about it and I was always trying to get better. And then when I moved to web marketing and I founded my agency, I started getting really bad at sales because it's totally different. It's like they're very different concept, and I had to relearn pretty much everything. So what I decided to do is I decided to create 7 pillars. I would say from like the most I would say like the most important pillars in sales in general for maybe specifically more founders, I would say, because B2C sales are very, very different than B2B. It's like two different worlds completely. And nowadays, I'm very lucky because, well, I don't really have to sell that much, but I do it all the time without knowing it. But I think that's the whole point here. So to get to there, I would say, instead of like just talking, what I'm going to do is I'm present a pillar and maybe we can exchange about it and someone can say like, I agree with you on that or not and share an experience because I have a little bit of experience with it, but you guys have your own experience as well. So that could be interesting and more, I would say, engaging. So my first pillar that I would say like to be successful in sales is the product or the service. Like I don't know for you guys, but especially with startups, I've seen it often. I know some guys who are like super good at sales. They're like they have the charisma, they have this and that, but their product or the service they sell is not always adapted to um the people they are pitching to. So regardless of like any kind of like tactics they use or whatever, it never really get to there. So I have a friend, for example, it's in like an AI actually he came here as well. So he launched this thing. He had a lot of funding, and things were it's like a AI startup about like I would say specifically for people who are doing a lot of bidding on contracts, something that fills up the contract for you. And he was in the industry. It wasn't working so well. He decided to just expand to different type of like industry and be able to help more type of companies, different type of companies. And nowadays it's easy. I can see him closing deals all the time. So I've seen it from my own eyes. Sometimes just selling the right thing, the product will just get you there. Dude, it does like 90% of the job. I don't know for you guys, but like for startups, especially if you just sometimes pivot a little bit, that's where usually like the it can make it. I don't know if someone has something to share about that. Like if you went through pivoting and then suddenly things got well, but I've seen it often with friends. And I mean, even for me, I used to sell advertising services and do their content and so on. And you fight with people who are on Upwork that sells two times cheaper, and then you're like, hey, you know what? It's actually easy to learn how to create ads. Instead of like doing it for you, I'll teach you how to do it, and we'll do follow-ups. So at the end of the day, the billing is almost the invoice is almost the same, a little bit cheaper for the company, but it's much easier to sell because now I know for sure it's working, and I know that they save money on everything. So that's my experience with finding the right service or the right product. Like that's, I think that's the most important part before trying to do anything. Is there anyone here that would like to share something about that with your own companies, maybe? Yeah.
I built like a car in like, you know how dealerships take a trade-in car? And they are usually of a different brand than the dealership sells. So I created this platform so they can sell the cars to each other when they take a trade-in. Then I basically made an app. It was the first time probably there was like an app on BlackBerry. So I had like literally research and motion help me build the thing. So I bought dozens of these Blackberries, brought them to the dealerships I had onboarded so they can use that, and they never used it. So imagine like how much money I wasted by just basically not having validated what was the actual problem and how they behave and their reality, right?
Yeah, that's you couldn't say better.
3,000 car dealerships I onboarded for that.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you could imagine how costly that was.
Absolutely. Well, that's a very good example. So yeah, like sometimes when you over like through a phone sales calls and it didn't close, sometimes it's good to ask yourself like, well, it's maybe not the way I should pitch it. Maybe it's just what I'm offering sometimes, right? And if you work in a startup where you can customize your own final product or service, then maybe sometimes pivoting is like the right solution. So I would always start there. So that would be pillar one. So if anyone as well is um, has a different view about it, please let me know. One thing that I find very important nowadays, and maybe we can talk about AI a little bit afterwards towards that, but is there any one of you here that use LinkedIn quite a lot? Like, do you guys use
All day.
all day? All day long, right?
Yeah.
You have like premium?
Orange.
Yeah, I would say like yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting there for sure. It's getting there for sure. But yeah, but LinkedIn in general, are you guys using premium or
Yeah.
like
I stopped paying it.
yeah, me too, I stopped, but
Yeah, because it's don't deliver value for me anymore.
yeah.
Very good.
So the point here is
Mail because as a hunter, you want to find some people. Normally, you can reach.
I can just outreach people and bring it in
Yeah.
and keep it scaling.
You.
Yeah, but my strategy on LinkedIn is always bring it up people inside it.
how do you do
Because,
that?
yeah, just scaling, sending connections, etc. Because I can access its people when it makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's my main strategy, not just like short term, but long term. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in.
In my case, it's a little bit different because in this case, I just appear for them and I use my connections to connect with them. So, oh, I saw you. Where I saw you. Oh, I saw you on LinkedIn. You are doing this, but this guy connects you with me. So you start with
Do you guys
another one.
accept everybody that adds you?
No,
No, just
no.
great providers. People that match,
If I saw something like a Ponzi scheme,
That's why it's important
not
to have
even more. It's just be there.
Yeah.
I will not like
The invite?
Yes.
That's why it's good to have like a great profile. Being
Yeah.
present.
I get so many connections every day.
I have you in my LinkedIn.
That's what I'm saying. I just now once a month I go there and I say accept all.
Like, do you go another way? Like, hey, I'm not accepting everyone.
No, I'm like I accept all, and most of them are like I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I'm like I use it very little, but like people start following you, and then kind of like I feel like LinkedIn connections now are more like a follow than like anything, right? It's almost like they follow you on Instagram, like they connect to you in LinkedIn. So that's why I'm like now I accept them all. Before I was like, who is this person? Let me connect. But I'm like, why am I wasting time?
I check everyone. I check out every profile.
One thing,
But
I
I haven't added anyone on LinkedIn like myself there and like add in like 3-4 years. I think.
1 year.
Because you're popular. You don't need to. People is coming to you, so it's not necessary.
But I think I'm underusing it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
In 24, when I started to work with Mercado Libre, the people just came to me because
Yeah.
Mercado Libre. And I accept everyone because if you don't have a good network, probably you can connect it with the high level. But the main point is the people are using this connection to reach another name.
Yeah.
So they are using my name to do another connections and probably sell something not so cool. So what I do last year was
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, just because they follow me on Instagram doesn't mean that I'm your friend. I guess it's opt-in.
I forgot the term for this, but impersonation.
Yeah.
The people
Wow.
use my profile to connect to another one. So I review all connections I have and remove a bunch of people who don't deserve to be there, and now I don't accept them.
Wow.
Anyway, I review everyone to see.
It's crazy how users use products differently.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I connect LinkedIn with the mail campaign. I get the LinkedIn, get the profile, and run a campaign, find the email, connect it with Mailable, and
Yeah.
keeping outreach campaign running. That's another strategy too. Get people from LinkedIn and use mail to outreach.
I don't know. I used to use Apollo, like just like a now it's more maybe, but it was pretty cheap in the beginning. Like I would just upload it there, and it would just like automated reach out to everybody that has like a thing. So I did that a little bit LinkedIn, but
I
it's been
created
like years.
Lovable like 6 months ago. I created a platform just to run all the outreach using mail, etc., using Resend
Interesting.
to outreach to new domain and LinkedIn, and I created an entire platform to manage partners. All the partner tracker, upload them, connect LinkedIn,
We should get you
using
in a
AI scouting, AI scouting platform as well, using Gemini to find the people that meet what we're looking for. And we're in VC, I have another page for VCs, and using all that stuff. And I get like Google News with Python, Google
Yeah.
News about the company, and connect with LinkedIn profile and Google search. And you can generate, like a specific personalized email with all this information.
Interesting.
So that's why Apollo and all that stuff, Big Premium. So
Yeah.
it's not delivering value anymore. I get this money, invest in tokens, and put them like 100 to find email, and I can deliver more.
Yeah.
That's my strategy.
Yeah, that's very for outreach. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I can show it to you and show what I did in Lovable.
That's literally Prompt Night. Night is one founder showing how they're doing something, and it's not necessarily just for product. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the Prompt Nights now are distribution programs.
Yeah.
Because that's the issue now. It's not like, oh, let's learn how to do one more landing page. Everybody already learned that.
That's why, Maria, that's why I was talking about yesterday with you, right? Because it's like the main problem in almost all the apps is not just distribution, right? So if you can find a way to build a system to help you distribute, that's the easiest way. Otherwise, it's very costly to have to travel everywhere and do events, and which is the old way of doing that. Yeah.
If I close that pillar, like in terms of like LinkedIn in general, what kind of like tools or strategies do you guys use to have it as a social proof? Are you guys like publishing a lot of, for example, are you publishing a lot of case studies? Are you like
Talk about the AI market.
Okay, but how do you do it?
Yeah, I not just get what's going on in the AI market and just post about it with my vision.
Okay, cool.
Typically some critical stuff.
Right.
Different approach. So that's I think is my main strategy.
Interesting. And is there any of you guys are doing videos on LinkedIn? I was just curious. I never really
Not converting.
No, right?
Try to,
Tried?
but not converting.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I tried for a little while and I was not.
What's working right now for me is get a design with the text on it, like 8 lines of text, because people don't stop to open the content and read. They just check the picture, get the content, and comment on it without reading. So it's converting really good right now. Just image with text, and that's it.
And yeah, that's
I got like 7 days, 100,000 impressions.
Wow,
It's a lot. It's very specific.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, just with this, talking about AI, tagging one company like Disney, etc., layoffs, that's hyping stuff. Design, tags on the design.
Right, that's smart. Yeah,
Are any of you guys using X?
No, but not as just as a
for personal information.
I
just information, and I use Grok to be updated about everything on web.
That's why X is really useful if you're doing business because sometimes Instagram like is very confusing. Like it distracts you when you're trying to do your business, especially your kind of business. Like I think you're gonna get very distracted, right? On X, that's what's great about it because you can basically as soon as you pay X premium, you have access to Grok.
Yeah,
And then Grok is like the genius of knowing real time what's happening.
yes.
Like it's not the best AI for you to produce a product with,
Yeah.
but it's the best one for you to get your news of the day that pertains to you. You basically set up a prompt that you can just run every day. It can create reminders for you every day with that task. So it's like it'll just literally every day pull for me the only things I care about that are being updated on X, and I don't have to scroll and read all that other crap and have all these emotions about things that come up, right? So it's very healthy, and I think it's good for a lot of Brazilians don't use X, but in the world of AI, crypto, Web3, it's the fastest growing network for sure. And it's very useful for you to start to just learn how to use it, you know?
Also, what I see is on X is where the content is created first, like the fresh stuff happens on X. And then people who are there, they port it to YouTube, they port it to LinkedIn. So it's like if you want the freshest thing, use X to find out what's hot, what's gonna be hot in LinkedIn and YouTube.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
one thing interesting is if you are doing this using statistics and analysis with different topics to validate product, to validate peak, to validate everything on the environment, it's very useful because it's Claude can do this, but the main point is do sentiment analysis about each topic and what is the hot topics and everything happen on next. It's the best place to try quickly and to be wrong quickly too.
True.
So it's different. It's a different approach.
Good insight.
It's crazy, you know, like everyone has a different way to use stuff and connect content source.
True.
Maybe.
Well, speaking of which, Pillar 3, that's very like basic. But one thing that do you guys do a lot of sales calls? Like often? No, my big mistake sometimes that I forget to ask questions, even though I know it. It's like very basic, but asking questions, that's how you'll get to find opportunities. Otherwise, it's just impossible. And one thing that I like to do is I'm not going to go over that principle, is very obvious. But one thing that I like to do with AI that really helped me sometimes is when I have a call with a new client and I have to like sell my services and so on. I like to take 5 minutes, even sometimes a little bit more, to just find out everything about the company and the industry. And I ask Claude to get all that information and prepare me questions that I can prepare in advance so I can at least know more about what's going on. Like, for example, I work with Beavertail in Canada. Beavertail, you know what it is if you've been there. It's like it's the most famous dessert in Canada. It's like a pastry that looks like a beaver tail. And it's very, very old companies. And I work with them on their B2B market. So we like try to get new franchising. And before I jumped on the first call with them, I started asking, I was using ChatGPT back then. I wasn't using Claude because it's a while ago. But I was like trying to find questions about how is the franchising business industry right now. So when I jumped on the call, it's just 5 minutes. You guys probably maybe do that already, but that's so useful because before then we didn't have that information. You just have to just assume like, I think that your industry right now it's this and this happening. Now you can go there and be like, hey, is it me or maybe like this is like a big problem, a pain point you're having right now? Because I've worked with a different company that's very similar, and that really helps because they see you care about their industry and you gain trust easily. And if you work online, like I do, and you don't meet in person, this is the only thing that really helps to get the confidence. Otherwise, they don't give a shit about you because you're just another guy online. You can close a Google meeting and that's it, you know. So yeah, Pillar 3 very obvious, but if I can add a little bit of value up on there, it's just to prepare before use AI like Claude or even ChatGPT to find really good questions to ask and take the time to do it, not just like assume, yeah, think about that. Just disciplinedly do you do that as well? What do you do before a call?
Actually, because it's not a sales call, because I manage partnership, so it's different.
Yeah, right.
So my main goal before the call is check what is the startup service, what they offer in terms of technology. That's it. And I ask about the team, how they can deliver and capabilities. That's the training question.
Actually, I was gonna say, like Jen applied for a job here, but he did it in a very smart way. Like the way he contacted me and the questions he asked and stuff was like, I was like, wow, this guy's like interesting. And
Yeah.
today presenting himself, we're like, oh yeah, this guy really has some interesting ideas and background, right?
Yeah, it was-
But so I was gonna say the spin selling model is actually the consultative sale. So like you're saying, I'm doing consultative sale. I'm not doing like but spin selling is like I never sold so many cars, or I was selling cars, and I learned spin selling. I read the book. Never sold so many cars until that. Never sold so many anything after, but that method, like literally that method of asking questions that
Yeah.
make that they allow the user to qualify themselves, and then the user will ask for the buy.
Exactly.
And you don't even have to sell. Like I was like, oh my god, I'm not having to force anyone to buy a
Yeah,
car.
it's crazy.
Just asking questions.
You were about to say?
Yeah, so we're already selling to universities, so it's easy to get to them because my partner associate has a big networking with them. But now we're trying to sell to the government, so the Secretaria de Educação,
Mhm.
and it's a lot harder because we have no connections with them. But I'm doing a lot of cold calls,
Oh.
and the thing that it's starting to get me to really get the meetings. It's we're not selling. We just want your opinion about the thing we are trying to develop yet. So that's how we're getting to them.
Strategy. So you
Yeah.
ask questions, you don't, they don't see you as like someone who's trying to sell something. You just
Yeah.
try to get their opinion.
Yes, and it makes them feel special because we want your opinion
Yeah.
if this is valuable or not. So there's a AI called Bordy, which Nima knows.
Have you guys heard about Bordy before?
No.
Bordy.ai.
So it's supposed to be your only conselheiro, like your only
It's your board member.
like your only board member that this guy created like this agent that is a super connector and it does everything. I think it's just open quad, I don't even know what the base, but it's just like it's a
Actually based on an OpenAI API. It was an API, and then initially a GPT. It was literally one of the
Yeah.
GPTs.
Yeah.
and we can
Like one of
refer you
those,
so you get in their program.
OpenAI had marketplace before. And then eventually it went to OpenAI, the API, and then now it's basically a multimodal. It's its own agents running on an open source model with the multimodal on the back.
So 40 is like technically like trying to prove you don't need an investor anymore, like the smart money. It's being automated, so it does connections for you, like it introduces you to people based, like you literally do calls. Like if he calls me and I talk with him, like, oh, I just had this meeting, I have to.
Yeah, you'll have like a 1 hour,
But it's
one and a
more
half hour
focused
call with
towards this app or thing. But the crazy thing
No,
about
anything,
this,
about anything. It's
about this, let me just finish
Yeah.
about this. So I allow it to see my calendar now. So every time I'm gonna have a meeting, it sends me a message, not even I go after it. It sends me a message 10 or 5 minutes before my call saying, oh, I see that you have this upcoming call. There's this people in the invite. One of them is your team member, so I'm guessing it's an internal meeting. Or one of this one is like this VC because we're raising for Founder House and we have a membership drive. So it tries to figure out, is this like a membership drive one? So this founder is the founder of an ed tech, and then it kind of like asks me like, do you want me to prepare anything else? So it gets already their context from the Google Calendar, tries to figure out information and
Nice.
pitch you and says like, is there anything else you want me to prepare for this meeting? So it's literally like a chat
Yeah.
like interface that I can just be like, oh, pull me more information about ed tech, and it kind of just does it and prepares you.
Oh,
And
I
then-
don't know if you do or not. It's like then ask it to create the script for you with
Yeah.
the questions based on spin selling. So you can make it do like things based on this book, based on that playbook, create me this process.
And then it can ask to join the meeting with you. So it actually attends the meeting as like a AI, records it. And as soon as I finish the meeting, it gives me, oh, Paloma, you promised this, this, and this in the call. So I'm not allowing it to all my meetings because I also don't want to feed too much information to Bordy. But in a few meetings that I know it's like not as sensitive, I'm like allowing it to join me and it gives me all. So it's kind of this crazy thing because we're doing it manual still, but this one is like it's pre-prompt, it's pre-trained to be your biz dev or like your team member during the meeting.
Awesome.
And then it already prepares you before, it prepares you after, and then you can even schedule kind of like, oh, now like draft the email I should send. So I'm still playing around with it, but like, oh, now based on what you heard, give me the message I should send them after because it has all this context. So it's a very interesting thing that even that's becoming more and more like proactive.
And
So it's like the competitive advantage that you have with any other salesperson is insane.
Exactly.
And it has, and it's in a proudly Canadian startup as well, for
sure.
Yeah, Canadian guys from Toronto have made it. And it's interesting because when I say you can do a call with it for 1 hour or even longer, imagine this. If you do a call with a human for 1 hour, there's a lot of fluff that goes into that call and there's a lot of resistance. We can be best friends. We're still going to have resistance in our conversation, right? And inefficiencies. But when you're speaking to an AI, like there is no resistance, there is no ego.
That's true.
So that 1 hour is worth days maybe of speaking with a person. It's insanely valuable. Like, so that's why I try to encourage people, like, instead of seeking a lot of different random advice from humans who you think are amazing people, they might be amazing, they might be super skillful, but they're still humans. They have egos, right? And you're probably going to spend a lot of time and energy and their time and energy and get like a small nugget of something, right? But like in this case, if you're like, you get really good at prompting written or even spoken, you can start to get AIs to work for you and save months or years of time sometimes for not just development, but for market development, right? For finding your users.
I'll be your devil advocate on this one for just one thing though, and I don't know if you guys encounter a lot, and there's ways for sure to like reduce it, but the problems that I find sometimes with AI is like it becomes too compliant, too you know, it's always
the quality of your question is important. Same as with humans, right? We always say like you get the right answer. The answer depends on the quality of your question. And with AI, it's literally scientifically like
yes. But what do you do specifically to like make it less?
I try and tell it to tell me what is wrong with what. Like if he ever tells me, "Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea," this that, and I'm like, okay, but what's wrong with that idea? What's gonna make it fail? What is the thing that will give it any? Is there any possibility to fail? Yes. Okay. So then, what's gonna make it fail? Like, what is the specific thing? And it'll start to tell you. Then you need to address this. You need to address that. So you start to get points, and then it sends you the call notes after with those specific points.
Guys, just keeping time.
All right. Well, all right. So on Pillar 4,
Good, right? But I mean,
no, I'll go over 5. I'll go over 5 pillars to the not the 7. Pillar 4: reframe the problem before you offer a solution. So that's very again, that's another one that's really basic, but it's very easy to help with because I don't know. There's like this saying in sales that if they say like yes 3 times, they're more inclined to say yes to your services or products. So if you reframe the question, it's like, okay, so for example, I have this guy. They were dealing with well, that was Beavertails actually. They were dealing with an American agency, advertising agency, very costly. They're like, oh wait, here's a problem. We spend X amount in ads, but we can't really find it profitable because our costs are too expensive. So he's like, should we use a different platform? So after talking and reframing the problem, I was like, your problem is actually you're spending too much with the cost of the agency. So they were thinking their problem was the ad spend, the platform, but no, that was more the people who were like doing it. So I was like, hey, what about we choose one of your guys internally to run the ads, and you're gonna save that $2,000 a month that you were paying me for. Of course, they have to pay me a fee to do things, but it comes out being much cheaper for them at the end of the day. So reframing the question make them always understand more of their problem and may teach them something about their own problems. So I don't know if you guys want to close on something, but I would say that's pretty much it for this one.
So qualifying their problem.
And one thing as well, the last thing that I maybe like to talk about is ABM. I don't know if you guys heard about account-based marketing, but if you deal with big companies, it's very, very often. And that's a big thing. If you have someone in a big corporation, like if you're trying to get to onboard a new big client that has a lot of people involved, always try to find someone who's on your side. Like that's a stupid advice, but it really makes a big difference. I don't know if you guys have that before, but it's like you find your champion and you just stick to that person and that person becomes your ambassador. And by doing that, normally, like for me, for example, I find someone where I help them with something specific for free. I'll make a video or I'll just like teach them how to do a specific thing for free, nothing asked in return. And then afterwards, they're always gonna go to the bat for you, and that makes a big difference.
So
If
you said
someone
that
maybe
about
can
big
make-
corporations,
Yeah,
and
but
it's
it's like
even
not
more
for everything.
important in government.
Oh, even more.
Like,
That's
first of all, selling to government is the worst thing you'll ever do. They take forever to make decisions, and they're very easy to like go back on their decisions. It's almost rocket science, right?
yeah.
But the finding the champion within the government is like the most important thing. So maybe your qualification call should be more about like who is the right person than what are you, the person I call, having the help. So trying to figure out through that person, who should I be really talking to? Who's that decision maker for that specific thing? Who is the closest to that problem that I'm trying to solve? And finding that champion and and you just consultatively spin selling, like asking those questions, makes that person be like, oh, this person cares so much about my problem. And they're the champion of that problem. So they're going to go inside the organization and make sure it happens. So it's how we are working with developing a special economic zone here. We find the champion within the city, we find the champion within the state, and then they take the project, they develop it.
Yeah, I think that you close the discussion very well on the. So anyway, guys, it's a short one, but thanks for the exchanges and looking forward to hear more about it, especially like I think your tips about few automations and that's very.
I can show you. I can show you the way that I put in place because I'm not a low cost guy. I'm a low cost guy. I hate pay for things. I always try to do something for free. You know, like get like for example, Resend. We can send 100 email per day without spending money. I get 2 accounts for Resend. Because I can just set up on Lovable 2 different accounts. Because at the end of the day, you spend on paying like $20 here, 15 there, and then the month will be like 200.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money to spend. So, and even this investment, we don't use much. You know, we have to be selective in terms of which one we're going to spend. And right now, I'm using a lot of top up. You know, like instead get the monthly fee, etc. Just put credits. Put a 15 credits here and just going because we don't use all the credits. We're doing just 1 month of the monthly fee.
So basically we're learning that it's that you're better off upskilling yourself quickly enough to be able to deal with buying token.
Yeah.
And the number one place your company should spend money on token.
Yeah.
And if you can upskill yourself, then you'll be more efficient with the tokens. So you use less tokens to get your results, right? But like if your first thought is how do I purchase ads, maybe it's better for you to use tokens and reduce that cost of the ads to maybe 0, you know, or achieve the objective that the ad was about to achieve for maybe 0, you know. So that's what's happening. There's actually a deflationary effect happening in the capital markets. Yeah, every high ticket SaaS company is now basically failing.
Yeah.
They have accumulated cloud credits basically, and now they are all cloud providers.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I'm not gonna name them, but the biggest SaaS companies in Brazil and the biggest e-commerce companies in Brazil are now doing the same thing. They are all offering you a marketplace with access to open source models and tokens. All of them. They might still say, oh, I'm e-commerce, but from the inside, their number one business is now that.
Yeah.
Because they understand that that's where the final frontier of SaaS is, basically.
Interesting.
And even this process platform, you can access their website to hire them. It's just SaaS. Just gonna show you the monthly fee. There's no top up option. You have to create an account and check about like the menu, account settings, and you're gonna see the top up option over there.
Yeah.
Because the first option is monthly fee, you know, just to get into the revenue.
Exactly.
Okay, guys, this was
So let's close some sales. Whoever wants to spend the day here, feel free to, there's the 2 other rooms as well.
There's the rooftop,
There's
but who's never worked from the rooftop here?
Yeah.
You guys worked from there? Yes, you know,
So,
super inspiring.
Yeah.
yeah, you can just sit there and do some meetings. Definitely the favorite spot.
Back there, it's already very good.
Yeah, it's true. Guga usually works from the DJ table, like stand-up desk.
I just bought one.
And we have a few stand-up
Crazy.
structures, you just set it up anywhere in the
When
house.
you're tired, just get up and keep working, you know.
Yeah.
Study tennis player.